Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. That was the actual screen playing at the same time I was talking. So we're gonna jump in, guys, to Panzer Corps. Now, for those of you guys that have never played Panzer Corps, number one, I feel very sorry for you. Number two, this is a massive, massive game. Now, if you get Panzer Corps, there are a number of DLCs that you can also get. You can also play multiplayer, obviously, but the DLCs are just vast in their scope. You know, the one great thing about Panzer Corps, or one of many great things about Panzer Corps, is just the amount of content here. We could play, obviously, the standard German campaign, which is, I think, what we're going to play today, because in the standard German campaign, your units can actually gain skills. They can gain hero units, in fact. And overall, they can just really, really do a lot better. Now, there's also the Russian campaign Soviet Corps, but this is a separate DLC, as is the Desert War here. So, the Allied Corps. Essentially, this is called Allied Corps. But today we're going to be just doing standard Panzer Corps, the early Blitzkriegs, Operation Fall of Ice. So let's jump in. I'll go for Colonel setting because I actually do play the game quite regularly, so I think I'll do all right, but we'll see. I don't want to push myself to General. We'll go ahead and jump in here, my friends. Hello, Breakaroos. Very cool. All right, here we go.
Greetings, Herr General. As you are now well aware, High Command has ordered the initiation of hostilities against Poland. Operation Fall Weiß must proceed at full pace, as we suspect that the British and the French will eventually come to aid of the Poles. To that effect, you have been given the task of securing the heart of the Polish nation. Take the capital, Warsaw, and the nearby cities of Lodz and Krakow. Achieving your goals quickly may allow you the opportunity to participate in additional operations. Failure, however, is not an option. Good luck, Herr General. I and all of Germany await word of your success.
Okay, so here we go, guys. Operation Fall Weiß, the attack of Poland. Essentially, the two cities we need to take, and you can tell by the yellow borders here, we've got to take Krakow. Actually, we have to take three cities. We have to take Warsaw, of course, and we have to take Lodz. Now, in my experience, Lodz is actually the most defended of all three. But we'll have to see what happens. So, I'm going to go ahead and start moving forward. We could attack this Polish unit here, although he's not really in our way. Obviously, he could get in our way later, but attacking a unit with, in a city with a vehicle is generally not a good idea. We've also got some units over here. I think these are actually Slovak units. Oh, no, there's the Gabersavers. Oh, thank you for joining us, Zapfloat. Byron says, I have to say I much prefer Panzer Corps Polish campaign over the one proposed by OOB, despite the fact that I'm partial to OOB. And what OOB, Byron is mentioning Order of Battle, which is another game made by Slytherin. Really, really fascinating one, and quite similar. I would say it looks a little more modern than Panzer Corps. Doesn't have as many missions, but it does have a tremendous amount of content. And I do see sort of that argument a lot in the forums where people are kind of going back and forth saying which they prefer, Order of Battle or Panzer Corps. But honestly, I mean, I like both of them. They're both great games, but there's definitely a difference, yeah, for sure. Go ahead and open fire here. So what I'm doing with the artillery is just basically softening the enemy up. At this point, I'll move in with the infantry, the 9th Wehrmacht infantry. Now, another cool thing, guys, and this is on a much smaller scale, but I like this when strategy games do this. If we want, we can actually rename this unit. So, in this case, let's say we want to put Zach Blood or Byron, in a unit. We can actually go ahead, take this unit. Make sure we actually have the unit selected. There we go. No, we can definitely rename a unit. I thought the command was Control-N. We'll figure it out eventually. But suffice it to say, there is definitely a command here. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys, we come back. Sorry about that. So we're going to jump into, of course, the continuing invasion here of Poland in Operation Vollweis. So let's just see here. Are you guys hearing me again in the Twitch chat here? So Byron is saying, I don't like the Allied AI in OOB. In Poland, it consistently messes up my plans. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. That certainly can happen sometimes. However, you know, it's a good thing. I mean, it shows the AI knows what they're doing. That's also why I'm targeting this unit right here, the 18th Polish Mountain Infantry, because despite the fact that they're not really in the way per se, we need to go ahead and take them out of the way, because if we take a city over here, these guys could very likely just move up and retake the city. Now we're going to move up here to the town. But really, our main focus has to be here on the city of Krakow first. Then we can move into Lodz and Warsaw. Now, what I usually do in this campaign is I set out on two different paths. So essentially, I have a group of soldiers moving up this way, and I've got a group of soldiers moving in the southeast to try and reach their objectives. Obviously, the northern reaches here, this is definitely what you should be committing most of your forces to, because you've got two cities up here, you've got one down here, and they're quite far from one another. So taking, for instance, Krakow is not necessarily going to give you enough time to get all the way up to Warsaw and Lodz, although the railroad here absolutely helps. So we're going to grab this tank and move into the city, taking it officially, of course, and open fire. For those of you that are new to the game or haven't played it before, don't know too much about it, one thing I want to remind you of is artillery pieces cannot take objectives. So keep that in mind. If you're going to take a city, make sure you're moving in with an infantry unit or an armored unit, or else you might have quite a bit of trouble actually getting in. I do believe we also have some actual cash to spend here in-game. I'll have to double check. Let's take a look here. Great, Jackulus. Yeah, we can absolutely, Byron, and that's a great point. We do have some points. So if you look in the upper right corner, these are our prestige points. We have 1,019 prestige points, and our prestige per turn is 5. Over here is, of course, the turn count and the date, things of that nature. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and jump into the other button, which is right here, purchase units. And we can purchase some actual units. Now, the thing that we have to keep in mind, the core slots here, guys, where it says 4, we can purchase a maximum of 4 units. So let's go ahead and take some Panzer 38s. I think these will be useful, and I'm going to place them up here towards the north, more or less. But I think it's also important in this campaign against Poland to take some air power. So I'm thinking maybe some fighters, because the enemy could actually end up attacking us here. So I'm going to put the Messerschmitts over here near the main cities to essentially defend our bombers as they move through. I'll also go ahead and purchase another bomber unit if we can, but unfortunately I think we are out of core slots. No, we still have 2. Let's get a Junkers 87B. So this is the Stuka dive bomber, of course, and you can actually see here the damage that it does against single targets, specifically infantry. It's extremely high. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase this Stuka and put it right there, guys. And of course, we have to wait 1 turn before we start moving with the units we just purchased. Let's take a look here at the chat. Good afternoon, V Redster. Hey, Zach Bullet, how you doing? Yeah, Zach Bullet always with the that cool little what's it called? The blood trail figure. Very neat. So at this point, we'll end the turn and see what Poland does. I have to be honest, I don't think there's going to be much they can do. This right here, as you guys can see, this is the Slovak infantry. So I thought it was Slovenian. No, we have Slovak infantry. We're going to move forward with them, but as you can see, the chances of them doing well in this fight are pretty low. Nonetheless, got to use them for something, and cannon fodder, I'll accept that. Let's see. All right, guys, so we're going to take these units right here. No, I think that's it. We'll end the turn and hope for the best. So here we go. I knew it. So the Polish do have an air force. It's not a very modern air force, but they can certainly kill some German planes. So we want to try and hit those guys with our Messerschmitts now. And that's exactly why I purchased the Messerschmitts. I anticipated this sort of attack, and I think I want to go for that Karas. I think the Karas is a little more dangerous than the PZL. Again, I don't really know much about these Polish planes, I have to be honest. It looks like the PZL is the fighter plane, and the Karas is the bomber. So let's move this guy behind the Karas, and he should be going down in flames. Beautiful. All right, at this point, I'm going to move up over here with the infantry. Open fire. But as you can see, the enemy has some defensive artillery. This is certainly a tactic that you should use if you're on the defense, is to have artillery pieces behind your men, because they will provide that sort of assisting fire. In this case, it didn't do anything to us. And I'm actually going to move forward and fire on the actual artillery piece, the 75 millimeter. Now, wow, interesting. So the Bf-110, even though this is a bomber, it can also attack other planes. That's all right. So in that case, I'm going to go ahead and attack the PZL here. Move back a bit. I'm going to move our artillery into the town just to provide some better firepower, I should say. And we'll get our Stuka, the Junkers here. And I think we should try and hit the anti-tank gun. Say anti-tank guns in this game, I've never seen much use for them. You know, really because the mobility's not good on them, so they can only move, you know, one turn. In the case of defending a city, I guess that they're kind of, how can I put this? They're a deterrent, for sure, but I've never actually been in a position, in this game at least, where an anti-tank gun really made much of a difference. Let's keep on moving. Unless maybe it was a mission that I had to complete, and the anti-tank gun kept me from completing that mission for a turn. Otherwise, not really. So let's move forward, and we're going to keep attacking that AT gun. Believe me, the effects of an anti-tank gun on infantry, you might think that since it's an anti-tank gun, it can only do damage to tanks, but trust me, it's not pretty. It can definitely be a serious problem. Okay, there we go. So we did manage to take out that Polish cavalry unit, but at the expense of quite a lot of men here. So what we can do, we can't do it this turn, but next turn we can actually add replacements. Now the thing in Panzer Corps, I think this is actually one of the earliest games where I remember the thought or the an idea of adding replacements to the unit and not being able to move. So in other words, if you add replacements one turn, you can't move. One thing I prefer about Order of Battle in this respect is in Order of Battle, you can retreat from battle or something like that, and you could still reinforce. Like if you move your character, you could still reinforce, and I like that. I think that's a little more realistic. Let's move forward over here. Ooh, we gotta be careful. Yep, it's an ambush. You guys see, as soon as I said we've got to be careful, an ambush occurs immediately. All right, let's keep on moving. Let's take a look here at the chat. Good afternoon is still there. Hi, hey, Engineer Kenny. When do we get to see some more Gladius? Unfortunately, I can't answer that question. I'm not really sure. I would love to play some more, though. I mean, I'm like you guys. I am desperate for some more Gladius. I'd also love to put it up on the channel, but I think we have to wait a bit. The product manager for Gladius, he should be able to provide some info on that, but I'm not sure if he's watching the chat. And again, it's really... I really don't know, guys. I would tell you if I did, I promise. There we go, another hit. Okay, so with this unit, no, we can't. I was going to say we can provide reinforcements, replacements, no. Still a lot of land to take. Ends a turn. All right, back to Aachen. So we're getting close to Lodz, but of course the fact is, you know, it's going to be heavily defended. We can already see the trenches over here. So I'm going to get close, just close enough to see. It looks like they're not occupying all of the trenches, but what we are going to do, guys, is bring replacements here to this unit. So you can get elite replacements, which cost more, or you can go ahead and get regular replacements. In this case, I am going to get the elite replacements. I don't recommend doing that. It's usually not necessary, but let's go ahead and get regular replacements for this fellow here. Start moving north, and let's see if we can't break through to Krakow. I'm only moving this guy up here so that I can get a bit closer and hopefully take out that artillery completely, and there we go. They did manage to do a pretty good number there on our troops, but I think they fought pretty bravely. Okay, let's see what to do. I think before attacking, I'm going to bring in... Oh, they've got an AT gun, or an AA gun, excuse me. I was going to say bring in these guys and open fire, but I don't think it would work out very well for us. I'll actually bring the Stuka here. And in the meantime, I'll get some replacements for the Slovakian unit here. I'm really tempted to try and attack, but we know what's going to happen. If we attack with these units, there's going to be a problem. Alright, this guy replacements. This guy replacements as well. And with our tank, we shall move forward. Let's go ahead and bring in that Panzer here, the 15th Panzer 38T. Oh, he should have done a lot better than that. And as you can see, the AT gun moved across the river there. Yeah, you know what? I'm bringing the bomber in to hit the AA gun. Oh, they completely shredded us with no damage. It does seem counterintuitive, but quite often you can take out AA guns with some well-placed bombardments. So we do want to keep that in mind. Move that artillery up a little bit more. And I believe we've done everything we can this turn. Yeah, no worries, engineer. Yes, very true, Zapflood. So it's funny that Zapflood's mentioning this. He's actually mentioning, let's see here, Panzer General, which was the, I guess, the predecessor to Panzer Corps here. And for any of you guys that are like old school strategy gamers like myself, you remember that one. And yes, you're absolutely right. It had the same rules regarding if you move a unit, you can't reinforce that turn. Let's go ahead and end the turn. I believe we get a bonus if we can take the cities before a certain date. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, nice. That machine gun is pretty effective against cavalry, as you can imagine. I'm not sure what sort of machine gun is mounted in the Panzer 1B, but it must be a vicious one. Hello, thank you for joining us, Duck with Shades. Good to see you, man. Got a lot of people joining today. Wow, another one? What? What is going on? Thank you, guys. Welcome to the channel. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open fire here. Although I might move up a bit. I don't know why. I think I'm just doing that to sort of open up the possible path of these units arriving. Crossing the bridge is much easier, as you can imagine, but some of these units won't have to cross the bridge. We can actually just go ahead and attack the unit from the south. Although we've got essentially 3 units focusing on taking Lodz and also Warsaw. So I'm thinking we need a few more units. That's why I'm sending this tank north. I'm not even going to attack the units in the town. My interest is just to get a victory here. Nice. So wonderful shooting there. Obviously, the anti-tank gun here got replacements, which is always frustrating when you get a unit down to 1 or 2 and they get replacements, but that's part of the battle, really. Okay, I think we can wipe out these guys over here, but I'm actually more concerned with getting into town. I'm going to ignore the AT gun for now. I can't really ignore it. Let's go ahead and maybe get a shot off. Ooh, this is not good, guys. One of our planes is about to run out of fuel. We need to get him to an airfield. Let's move him. I'm going to do the same with this guy because we might as well, just to be safe. And, this guy better head back as well, because let's face it, he needs replacements. So right now our Air Force is getting some much-needed rest. And we continue to push in to the city. Yeah, we'll take this guy out with... Oh, maybe not. I guess the 1A is unable to move that far. 1A is not a very good tank. Got to keep that in mind. These were early war German tanks, so you don't have the behemoths like the Panzer or the Tiger. Those just don't exist yet. What you do have in the invasion of Poland is a lot of cavalry, believe it or not, dragging a lot of artillery and a few tanks. You've obviously got like the 6th Panzer division here. This is a 2C. Again, not a great tank, but compared to what the Polish had, probably pretty good. Let's take a look here. Thank you, Zaloysius. Is that how I pronounce your name? Zaloysius. Very cool, very cool. Alright, here we go. So yeah, there's no doubt we're going to have to send some units more to the north. But once we take this city, then we can really make a lot more decisions. I'll actually see if we can purchase any more units, because we do have one more core slot, I believe. But we only have 76 prestige. Yeah, and so we can't even afford the most basic infantry, which would be 127 without a truck. And I believe we're only getting 5 prestige per turn, although I think that increases if we take a location. We'll have to see. Here we go. Oh no. He's back. It must feel weird using biplanes in World War II. It just must feel really weird. Okay. Well, that's... So, I think first thing we're going to hit is the 5th Polish Infantry. I'm surprised they don't have artillery here. They do have an AA gun, which is extremely effective, but they don't have any arty. And now that the enemy is actually trapped in the swamp here, you see the swamp terrain? It's a terrible bit of terrain for infantry to be trapped in. You know, they're bogged down. It's very easy to see them in the swamp. It takes a while for them to move through, so we're going to get a pretty good shot here. Ah, they do have artillery. Surprise. That right there was a Polish surprise. They said, wait a second, follow us into the swamp so that we can target you with our artillery. And it worked out pretty well. Infantry or AA gun? I think we're going to have to go for the infantry. Nice attack there. We've also got the cover of the trenches here, but we've got to keep in mind we're fighting the enemy that's also in the trenches. So it's we both get that bonus. It doesn't really benefit either of us, I guess, directly. But yeah, look at that. The enemy managed to do a lot of damage to this tank. And if we keep on trying to move by, they might do more damage. So let's hope for the best. We go. Yeah, nice work, Panzer 1A. So now we should have a unit that can move in here. Sure enough, we do. Although there's not many guys in this unit. We've got to be careful. And we shall take the wonderful city of Krakow. So now, of course, Krakow is flying the German flag. I will move forward here. And we can finish it off with our Gavesjager division. wow, another subscriber. We have done pretty well today on subs. Thank you for following us, SWJ. Thanks, man. A lot of people for joining. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't really want to go after that unit. Although now our planes should be fine, so I'm going to go ahead and start attacking the PZL. Sort of a Polish fighter. It's a World War I fighter, basically, but it's being used here in WW2. And there we go, she's going down. Now the bomber needs to get repaired. To be repaired, I believe you have to be directly over the airfield. Maybe it's enough to be near it, because it's certainly enough to get fuel. If you're near the airfield, like a tile away, you still will get fuel. But I'm pretty sure repair-wise, you need to be right on top. Again, I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the case. Yep, that's about all we can do this turn. Here we go. See, now that we have that trench, yeah, it's going to be much harder for the enemies to displace us. Definitely get a defensive bonus on that. In fact, the fact that the cavalry moved out of the trench here is a terrible idea on their part. I think we could probably finish them off now that they're out in the open. Let's see. Yep. Let's see if the 3rd Wehrmacht division can take them out. Ja, das ist sehr gut. They definitely took them out there. And now we just have to worry about that 40mm AA gun. Although much like an AT gun, even though it's made, in this case, for shooting down planes, if they fire it at our infantry, we're going to lose some infantry. There's no doubt about that. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and begin the attack on it, but actually their artillery, the shelling, might keep us back. And thankfully, thank you so much, Polish infantry. They didn't attack us this turn. So we're going to continue. I think next turn we'll go ahead and get him some replacements. Same with this tank right here. No, I don't want to move through here. I want to move through here. Get some reinforcements for the units inside Krakow. And let's provide some artillery support. Wow! Excellent. So 11th Wehrmacht there getting a great kill. And I think we want to go ahead. We can firing and fighting. Ooh, this is not good. Okay, we're good. We're good. I totally forgot about this plane. This guy, this junker, is the Stuka, who's been hanging out here, and if we had waited one more turn, he would have crashed for sure. Luckily, we do have just enough fuel to get back to base, so that is a huge relief, obviously. And I'm actually going to keep on targeting the 17th Polish Infantry with our Slovakian division. Boom. So we're getting a lot of replacements here just to basically, you know, replace the units that were lost in the initial stages of the invasion. So I think it's because, yeah, there's rain. So as you guys can see here, rain causes serious problems for your combat operations. Planes are affected the most. They cannot attack or be attacked, and their spotting range drops to 0. The spotting range of ground units is halved, ranged attacks become less effective, and hand-to-hand combat units can no longer benefit from high initiative ratings. Initiative is severely capped. Units outside of cities receive less supply. After a few turns of rain, the ground will become muddy. As you guys can imagine, muddy ground, it's going to take a bit longer to walk across it, and it causes all sorts of issues for your vehicles. Okay, I think we've done enough there. We're going to end the turn and see what happens. Good shooting, boys. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We had one of our armies cut off and killed. Man, they did a good job there, too. So I'm actually going to target the AA gun. If we can get them out of the town or out of the city, really, and take it, and just defend it from these other units, I think that would be a lot easier. Man, look at that. For some reason, this tank is just not very effective. Open fire with the Panzer 2C. I think one thing is also they're in a woods area. Obviously, if you're a tank in the woods, a lot harder to see the enemy. Some replacements here. Replacements here. And these guys have to go back to the airfield for sure. We're probably going to take some hits if we go for this, so then again, I think we got to take risks. So I'm going straight for a bombing on... Oh, nice! We got 4 guys, 4 AA guns on the ground, so that actually worked out pretty well. As for this guy, he has got to get back to the airfield, or else he's going to run out of fuel. All right, we're going to open fire here. Wow, there's actually a rugged defense from the AA gun at the airport. That's a bit surprising to me. Fire. Nice. Instant kill there by our artillery piece. And yeah, I think it's important for us to get into this location as soon as possible, because this gives us an air base much closer to where combat is going on. Well, actually, this one is right here. This one's right here. Not much of a difference, let's be honest. But still, you know, it's always an added bonus when you're taking more and more of the enemy's territory. So at this point, we did actually have time to head forth. The reason I'm kind of a little unsure is I want to keep at least 1 unit back. But do we need it for the final victory? I don't know. I really don't. I think we can keep just 1 guy back, the 10th Wehrmacht. In this case, if we get attacked, we can defend the city. And we'll just keep on moving to the north with the rest of our units to join up with the attacks on Lodz and, of course, Warsaw. So let's see what happens, and I believe we can end that turn. Oh boy, we're definitely going for a major attack on our tank. So 8 of 17. So yeah, as I mentioned before, there is a bonus. If we capture all objectives with at least 5 turns remaining, then that's going to be a decisive victory. And what's cool about this game, something that a lot of other strategy games don't necessarily do, is depending on how you perform. So if you get a marginal or a decisive victory, sometimes it's going to put you in a different battle because you took more time to accomplish your goals. So there's different stuff going on, essentially. I believe after this, it's the invasion of Norway, if I'm not mistaken, and after that, it's the invasion of France. But it's a tough one, and obviously you need to perform well as well as you can. If you want to get a victory. Look at that, guys. The enemy has a 7 TP. This is a Polish tank. And he's just kind of been hanging out here. Absolutely going to target him because I'm thinking that they probably kept this guy here waiting for us to get this close so that they could go ahead, move forward, and start hitting our units. Of course, I don't think he can stand up to any of our tanks. As you can see, even the Panzer 1A is going to be able to do some damage to him. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Go ahead and hit him with the arty. Nice. And there we go. Take a look here at the chat. Yes, thanks, Engineer Kenny. So Kenny confirmed that basically, if you have a plane and you want to repair it, you must be directly on top of the airfield. If you just need to refuel, you can be in any of the 6 tiles around it or directly on top, and you will be refueled. But definitely something you want to keep in mind, because you're going to get pretty frustrated if you drop a plane next to the airfield, hoping that you can repair it, and you just can't. Okay, let's go ahead. We're keeping going for this tank. That doesn't make sense. We're going to keep on going for this tank. Here we go. Yeah, it's going to be destroyed before it even gets off the ground. Sometimes you just need to sit back and take some replacements. Do we go for the AA gun, or do we go for the enemy infantry entrenched here? I think we have no choice but to go for the entrenched enemy infantry, primarily because this could be a serious problem, especially since they have 2 infantry groups here. And yes, one is pretty weak, but again, 2 groups of infantry could take out a tank unit, could take out the Panzer IIc. We don't want that to happen, so I'm going to try to lower the amount of infantry they have there as much as possible. And quite frankly, taking out this AA gun, it's not going to be difficult. Not nearly as difficult as dealing with a bunch of infantry over here in the woods. Let's also go ahead and strafe them, the F-110. It doesn't look like he did very well in that strafe. Alright, we can keep going forward here. We should end the turn. Nine of 17. We're getting very close to the mark for the decisive victory here. So we want to hurry up if we can. We're going to target the artillery, because that can provide support to any unit in this vicinity, and we don't need that. As for this German unit, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring some elite replacements. We can only bring 1, though, and that's caused by a number of different reasons. Sometimes it's a lack of points. In this case, we don't have a lack of points, but we are so close to the enemy line that not as many men can get through. At least that's how I've always understood it. Oh, you're not hitting our tanks now, I don't think. And let's move a little bit more. I am really disappointed with the BF-110's ability to hit targets on the ground. I mean, they're much better. This plane is much better in the sky against other planes, but it's not a fighter. It's a strategic bomber, I believe. Wow, they actually got down. They actually got down to 1. Unbelievable. Fire. Danke. That city's ours. Now, even though it's not one of our main cities, it's always good to take some of these areas for a number of reasons, but, you know, not least of which it allows you to sort of see some of the area around. If the enemy tries to go for any of our other cities, we're going to be prepared. And I'm going to move this Slovak infantry to defend Krakow. Okay, this guy we need to go ahead and bring replacement or supplies. This is a tough one. I think we'll just keep the artillery here for now. But we're absolutely going to have to do something else with them. It's in the turn. Turn 10 now, guys. And the Polish are definitely fighting back. did 4 damage there. That was wonderful. Greatly reducing their effectiveness. Come on, let's just get rid of that unit, guys. You can do it. Nice. Let's move in here and open fire. Okay, this guy desperately needs fuel, so let's get him to the fuel depot. Let's get him to the actual airport here, or the airfield, and we could actually go in for an attack and possibly wipe out, or assist in wiping out that gun, and I think we're going for it. Yes, the AA gun's here, but it's pretty weakened. I don't think it's going to be very effective. Good shooting, too. Nice. Finally, he actually hit something. The BF-110 actually managed to get a hit. Wonderful. Let's move back. And yeah, I was unsurprised that there were Polish infantry guarding this town, especially since it's part of a very important rail junction. Let's go ahead and get some supplies to this good old artillery unit, and we shall continue moving north. Although, oh, maybe we could actually flank Warsaw from the back here. Be a true blitz. Next turn, we will provide them with some assistance for sure. This guy's got to get back to an airfield as well. Although we're very close to a Polish airfield right here that we might be able to take. Let's see. No, he's not going to take it this turn, but something to consider. I think just to be safe, though, we should head back to our own airfield and refuel. Let's see. Okay, so more replacements here. I think that's going to be important. Let's get some replacements, especially since this is a city we need to defend. It's very unlikely, unless you're on a higher difficulty, that the Polish are going to try anything to take these cities back. But for instance, I tried playing on the highest difficulty, a campaign that I'm sort of just playing for fun, and the unit here actually came out, went right there and took the city, one turn away from victory, and I lost. I actually lost. I was so annoyed, so frustrated, so you've got to keep those units there. Let's keep on moving here. I don't want to zoom out that much, but you do have the option if you want. You can zoom out like this. Makes me totally blind. Here we go. I never like taking the risk with the fighter planes, but I'm going for it. I mean, I don't see any AA, and sure enough, there wasn't any. But of course, fighter planes, even though they can attack ground targets, and sometimes they do a very good job at it, they're really much better for, obviously, attacking other planes, hence the term fighter. So I don't usually like to send them into situations where I think they could get damaged. I like to wait until the enemy planes show up, usually. But you don't always have that luxury. There we go. Beautiful. So we've just cracked the shell here of Lodz. We're going to move in. Lodz is ours. I think it's pretty important for us to take the airfield, so I'm going to continue the attack. Even though we probably should have rested the 3rd Wehrmacht infantry this turn, I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, just continue. Keep on fighting. Never stop. Stuka. And as you can see, just another example of how you've got to keep some men in the cities to defend them. Look at this. This Polish unit has reinforced, and now they've got 10. They're at max strength. Our units up here are pretty badly damaged, so they could potentially, it would be a bit hard, but they could potentially knock these units out and take the city. Let's keep on moving. Yeah, get the good old infantry. So I don't like being in a truck. Obviously, if you are in a truck, there are benefits and negatives. The benefits being you move a lot faster and a lot farther in a shorter period of time. But the negatives being, if they shoot you, even with just an infantry unit, even with an AA gun, your truck is going to get destroyed or badly damaged. And of course, it's going to affect your men, the men inside. Let's keep on looking here. Move up with this fighter plane. And I'm trying to see if we have any fresh targets, but I don't actually see any. So I think what I'll do, just get close to the city here and see what they've got in Warsaw. Now, if they're defending the capital city of Warsaw with just an anti-tank gun, I think that's a bit sad. But I'm not sure if in 1940, if perhaps, or 1939, excuse me, if maybe Lodz was the capital, was the proper capital, or Krakow was the capital of Poland. It's possible. I really don't know. But I think Warsaw has always been the capital. So I think that's pretty awful defense. But, oh well. If it's all you got, right? Boom. That was simple. So we took Warsaw. They didn't put up a fight. And I think right now we're going to go ahead and target the enemy here. They've also got the Fortress of Modlin. Very sturdy fortress. And they could actually open fire on us here. But I think we've got this one. I think that's a victory on turn 12. Which means, hopefully, depends if the game wants to be nice to us, that this counts as us completing it 5 turns before. Technically, if they count this turn. Let's see. Hopefully I get my wish. Oh, you guys see what I'm talking about? So, there we go. They took the city back. Oh man, that's rough. We were about to get, for sure, the bonus there. But that AT gun actually fought back. And I was talking trash about AT guns earlier in the stream. So maybe this is my punishment, is the AT gun actually attacked and pushed us out of the city. So here we go. The AT gun is retreating now. I'm going to keep firing at it. But unfortunately, I think because of that, we don't get the bonus. Yeah. If there was 18 turns, it would be great. Too bad. Okay. Another reason to destroy units, even when you're at the very end of a campaign, and this is, of course, not if you're doing a battle, this is if you're doing a campaign, is because you have to keep in mind that your units gain experience by killing enemy units. It's very important. The unit that actually gets the kill is going to be the one that gets the experience. So you want to remember that, and eventually units can get heroes, they can get awards, as you can see over here. Here we have a list of their kills, which is a pretty big list of kills. But it's a really fascinating addition to the game. I really like it. So eventually, you can actually get a hero, which will give you a bonus in combat. It also tells you when the unit was commissioned. Just a lot of really cool information here. Ooh, cool, Byron. Yeah, I think you can. I think you're good. We trust you. We trust you. Can I give you any more information on Panzer Corps 2, plan timing, or release of new material? I wish I could, man. I'm sorry, I can't. I wish I could. All right. Let's see. Jump right back in. At this point, I think victory's ours. But just to make sure, just to make absolutely sure, we're going to keep on moving forward with some of these guys. We're going to start sending replacements. Another reason you might as well go ahead and get the replacements here is in the next battle, a lot of these units are going to come with you. And in fact, if you want to know what units will come with you and what units stay behind, the way you find that out is if you look at the unit here, you see that number, the 9? If it has a gold boundary around it, that means that will continue on to the next battle. If it's one of these, though, and it doesn't have a gold boundary, it will not continue on to the next battle. And that's kind of unfortunate, because right now the Panzer III is actually our best, it's our best tank currently. But he's not going to be coming with us to the next battle. Of course, we can always upgrade our troops, things like that, but yeah, that's not an option. So, Stuka. So, I guess the best way to put that is you should try and get your kills with the units of the gold boundary, if you can. If you can. Again, that's not always possible. All right, here we go. Fingers crossed, guys, and the victory's ours. Decisive victory. That's what I'm talking about. We got that good old-fashioned decisive victory. Very, very happy about that. And now we're going to proceed to the next battle. Now, if you want to save the replay, this is another really cool thing. You can actually watch your battle in real time. Just by hitting save replay, instead of seeing like, each individual unit moving little by little, you can actually see everything happening quite quickly. And you can actually see here us taking a prisoner, a guy with an MG42 aimed at a prisoner. That's rough stuff. Let's proceed. A remarkable victory, Herr General. Your success in Poland surpassed even our most optimistic predictions. More than this, you have secured our eastern border and demonstrated to our enemies the strength and ferocity of the new German army. With our non-aggression pact in Russia in place, we have assured that Germany will not be fighting a war on two fronts. Give it time. Give it time, Germany. Don't get all excited.
Welcome to the Operation Weserübung, your preemptive invasion of Norway. Intelligence has informed us the Allies intend to occupy Norway, so High Command has decided we must strike first. It is believed that if we are able to secure enough vital ports in Norway, we will deny our enemies its strategic bases and vital resources. You must seize the major ports along the Norwegian coast. Ensure a decisive victory by securing the northernmost port of Namsos. Expect minimal ground resistance from the Norwegians, but heavy naval support from the British. To assist you in your campaign, the Kriegsmarine has generously supplied several cruisers, destroyers and U-boats to serve as auxiliary forces. As always, time is of the essence. You should strive to achieve your objectives before you become bogged down in an extended battle against an entrenched enemy that will receive increasing aid from Britain and France.
Okay, so that's proceeding into the next campaign. And this particular campaign in Norway, one of the things that makes it difficult is that Norway is a very mountainous country. And so to get into the country, we actually have to use mostly paratroopers. We can land some craft and work our way inland, but it takes a lot longer. Another thing is we could just go ahead, move our paratroopers up here, drop them off in certain locations and storm the cities. But the Norwegians do put up a very good fight. Also, Navy-wise, the Norwegians put up an excellent fight. If I'm not mistaken, there was a ship, German ship, known as the Blücher. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it was a massive German ship. It had just been commissioned. Basically, the Norwegians destroyed it in a few minutes. They just shelled it. They fired torpedoes from coastal areas. And they were really good at defending Norway. Unfortunately, they didn't really succeed. Tinjaw says, Panzer Corps is in my top 5 favorite computer war games of all times. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. It's great. It's absolutely great. Thank you, Byron. Thank you, Flanderbert. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn off the stream. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I highly recommend you guys subscribe not only to this channel, but also to the Slytherin Group and Matrix Games channels on YouTube. And I'm going to drop my channel down below here when the stream ends as well, if you guys want to stop by there. Do a lot of strategy, that sort of stuff. So I'd love to see you guys stop by. Let's take a look here. That would be interesting, Zaloysius. Thank you so much, guys. Take care and have an awesome, awesome day. I hope to see you very soon. We did not have a user choice stream this week, but I believe that